I'm Fear Doorstop.
Hi, I'm Fear Guys, and today we're going to talk about mentality.
Right. From Katy Perry, how do you handle loss effectively? What do you feel most people do wrong after a loss?
The way I view it is like if I lose, I'm like, well, I got outplayed. That's just great. You can't really be too mad about it. They just weren't playing better that day. So that's sort of how I look at it. The best way to handle it is just like go home, look and see what you did wrong, because obviously you did something wrong to lose, so that's why you go review, look at your stats, see what you did wrong, change it up.
I think the best way to handle loss is to view it as a step into the success of later. You want to look at loss as an opportunity to learn from your mistakes. I always see like someone who loses a set is coming into the next set with a bigger advantage. If you play someone that beat you before, and you know more about what you did wrong last time than they did, so you have more things that you can change and bring to the table that will help you win the next time.
From Rob Gucci, how are you able to stay focused on your win conditions both as a player and your character when you get mopped in the first half of the game?
So it's funny he asked that because he did that to me. He like 3-stocked me really badly, and I was like, oh, okay, this happened to me. Usually whenever I get like mopped like that, I take when we're stage banning and picking stages, I usually use that time to like breathe and think about stuff that I did wrong. So whenever I am banning stages, I always like take my time and I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong? Because I got blown up. I need to figure something out quickly, because if I don't, I'm gonna lose. So I think more people should do that, honestly, like just sit there and like think about what they did wrong in the set, like in the first game, and then go from there. And then once you like get into the next game, I feel a lot better about getting the win conditions I need to like get things going. Because again, you're just taking the time to like breathe and think.
I think it's been easier depending on what character you play sometimes. I think one of the best things you can do for yourself in this situation is to have a fantastic punish game. If you believe in your character's ability to bring you back from literally anything, it doesn't really matter all that much. I feel confident that my characters can pull off almost literally anything. I got mopped by Jin that one set at that Kentucky Regional I recently just won. I was getting mopped game 4, and I just know that Ivysaur has the capacity to bring that situation back. I wasn't particularly worried about it. I mean, I was, but I knew I could do it.
From Neon Survivor, how do you mentally prepare yourself for sets against one of your worst matchups?
Oh god. I don't know, honestly. I feel like you have to like really take a lot of time out of your day to like figure something out. Like obviously you need to put in your character strengths, so like I think what you should do is kind of like see where your character's strengths lie in the matchup and just go from there and try your best to get in those positions. So like for example, like Snake's really bad. Like you can't really fight him. He fights you better than you can. So like the only really good position she gets or situations when she gets like maybe like a witch time, so she can close space and get closer to him and actually fight him because she's invincible. Or when he's recovering, or so you can juggle him from below, stuff like that. So like really playing to that, so you can make the most out of each situation. You have to make the most of each situation because you can't naturally keep up with that character because he's better than you.
So I think worst matchups are actually sometimes like easier to prepare for in most cases, because I think the worst matchups in the game tend to be really simple ones. Like they're bad because the opponent has some very overpowering counterplay to like your entire kit, and they're probably going to be over relying on it, and you need to be doing very specific things to beat it. And I think it actually makes it very easy to focus on what you need to do in that case. Weirdly, I think for the person playing the better side, they actually have to be a little bit more worried about not getting too predictable and relying too much on their character strength and still be playing the player to an extent. there's some matchups that are worse for more complicated reasons, and I think that can be a little harder. But I think keeping things simple and just knowing what you have to do to keep up is all you really need to do to have a fighting chance. Keep it simple.
From KCD, if you're going up against someone higher ranked, how do you tell yourself you can beat them?
So I personally, I just kind of view them like anyone else. That's just how I am. I'm like, well, they're human just like me. They can lose at any point. You know, I could be playing better than them that day. So I just try to like, you know, I don't know what it is. I just buckle down and I just play like they're just like anybody else. I don't even think about who they are, like, or, you know, how notable they are as a player. I just kind of like play them like they're anyone else. I think people like start thinking about that too much, and then they just fall apart because they're like, oh my god, I'm gonna beat MK Leia, or oh my god, I'm gonna be like Light, or you know, things like that. They just fall apart. So you have to like just get that idea out of your head and just play the game. Just sit down, play the game, and you know, go from there.
I think rankings are really stupid and they don't matter. I think rankings only reflect what someone was pulling off or capable of like during like a certain stretch of time. I don't think they mean a whole lot for the period after the time. People get really stressed out about rankings and stuff because it's like social clout. That's really it. There's not a whole lot else to rankings. I think you'll find that the people who are highest ranked, like me, like Geist, anyone else who's like really highly ranked in their states as well, I think you'll find those people actually don't care a whole lot about their rankings. They care about where they think they are in perspective to everybody else. Like what they know they're capable of is nothing to do with your rank and should have nothing to do with yours either. You need to know what you're capable of, and if you think you're capable of beating that person, doesn't matter what number they have behind them.
How do you properly identify your win conditions when you're down in a match? Is it more of identifying what you need to land or what your opponent's weak points are?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's easier, obviously, if it's like a matchup that's not too hard. Like you can, you know, like say an even matchup. So, but versus like a harder matchup, like I talked about earlier, it's really difficult because you kind of have to like be a surgeon almost to like figure out what it is. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of both because like a lot of people's like habits or weaknesses, they kind of go hand in hand with their like characters. So say like I like Diddy Kong. Like some Diddy Kongs have that monkey flip habit, but like a lot of times they can't really do much about it. They kind of have to because of the character. And sometimes you know, those Diddy players will fall into that habit of like monkey flipping in those certain spots because, you know, they have to. So there's things like that. Like people's weaknesses are kind of like tie into their characters' weaknesses.
It's like a very certain characters can kind of think that way. Like for example, I think like Wario or like Bayonetta or like some characters that have like these really early like death combo kills or something, ways that they can fish for that. I think you can think that way. In that case, you're like looking for what option you need to do to hit what you need to be looking for, and then not getting hit until you see that thing. If you don't play a character that works like that, where they have these really low death combos, like low percent death combos, then you need to focus on not getting hit and letting the opponent dig your own grave. It is kind of the same thing, except I think you're just looking for less specific things if you're not one of those low percent death characters. With Zero Suit, I always just like realized in my last stock that I am really good at not getting hit by combos if I don't want to get hit by combos. If Zero Suit doesn't want to die, she's not dying. And I just keep being annoying and letting things chip apart until all of a sudden you have ways to kill them that they aren't expecting. And you let them dig their own grave trying to finish you off.